another edition of IPC webcast. We are broadcasting today live from Ayala Avenue here in Makati, Philippines. And for this edition, our topic is on IPC Voices, Voice over Internet Call Exchange Suite. Just to recap, IPC Voices is actually a cloud-based contact center solution that is geared towards business process outsourcing companies as well as call center and contact centers. That is a cloud-based solution wherein instead of those very expensive and capital expense heavy infrastructure, this is a cloud-based solution that maximizes your resources, at the same time delivers the solution in a subscription-based nature. At the same time, you get all the features and more of a regular contact center application. For this webinar, we will discuss the application itself, how it works, and we'll show you the works, so to speak, and running the application. So if you allow me, I would like to invite you to see the screen that we have right now. And by the way, if you have any questions, please do post your questions there in the chat box located in the right hand side of your screen, and I'll be answering your questions towards the latter part or at the end of this webinar. So IPC Voices, as I mentioned, this is a contact center app. So the nature of this application is actually centers around two things: the application itself, which is web-based, which what you're seeing right now, which to point to the website, it's actually voices.cloud.com.ph. On the other hand, it's actually the dialer that's actually critical for in running this application. Why? Because all of the traffic, all of the telephony, all of the voice transaction or voice communication is handled through the dialer. Now, if I may refer to you, the first step, the very first step on running this application is setting up the dialer first. So for the dialer, we're happy to our clients and those listening is that for the dialer, we are making sure that 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 we deliver to you the dialer that is already pre-configured. So to do that, IPC will send to you a Google Drive link, which is what you're seeing right now on the screen, where you can simply download. Okay, and then once you've downloaded it, it's already, as I mentioned, pre-configured. So all you need to do then now is just unpack it and actually get the link to the application, which is this one, Phoner Lite. Okay, and once you're inside the application, all you need to do now is just call or insert the dialer extension. In this case, for this demo, the extension will be 80029. So let me type in the extension and then just click connect. So for all of our users who are listening and watching, okay, so what that meant actually what it meant is that the dialer is connected to your VoIP. So now you are ready to make the call. Now, once you're done, all you need to do is you go back to your IPC Voices website, and all you need to do is type in your username and password. Now, for the benefit of those who want to do the demo or want to try out the application, kindly contact sales team at ipc.ph or call 848-8700, and a friendly account manager will be helping you run through this application, test it so that you can actually get and see the benefits of the application. So, by the way, if I may just explain, IPC Voices is part of the software as a service application to the cloud.com.ph platform, making sure that we deliver applications that are number one, ready and deployable, at the same time cost effective to all of our end users, especially you who's listening right now. So for the benefit of a demo presentation, I have already an account. Okay, so just type in my account, which again will be provided to you by your friendly IPC account manager. All right. Okay. So now this is the application. Just to describe to you, what you're seeing right now is actually the administrator slash VIP account. Now, for IPC Voices, there are actually four types of user accesses. One is the VIP account, which is usually the contact center operator itself, himself or herself, the owner, for example. The next type of user is the administrator, wherein in terms of usability, it works the same way as a VIP user, but it has all the visibility on trying to control and manage the actual campaign, the actual call, the actual setup itself. Now, the third user is the QA. So the QA, or quality assurance, means that they can actually check and verify all of the output of the call campaign, and it helps to make sure that the quality of the conversations are right, any errors are corrected, and any concerns regarding some of the call or some of the transactions can be checked and verified. And the fourth one, which to us is equally more important, is the agent. So the agent has access to the database or to the call list wherein they can make the calls right now. Going back to the admin user, what you're seeing right now is the live monitor part, which is actually very important in the sense that in the live monitor, when a call or a campaign is ongoing or calls are being made, you can actually see what's happening per specific campaign. At the same time, I'd like to point to you some of these tabs. In the campaign tab, you can actually see, you can actually make a campaign, you can add a campaign, and then for the list, you can upload and manage your list. When we say list, we mean by, uploading all of those telephones and addresses and names of people that you'll be using to run the campaign. And for users, you can add and remove users, set roles, and manage user accesses. For clients, you'll be adding clients here and managing them and giving your end users some access. By the way, speaking of clients, what's very unique about this IPC Voices application is that it allows your end clients to have access to the actual campaign, which is actually very, very critical because it gives them the power or the visibility to see the campaign as it runs, and they don't have to wait for 1 week, 2 week, or 2 weeks or a month for them to get the reports. So through this client's page and client access feature of IPC Voices, if you are a call center operator, all you need to do is give an account to your end clients, and they can actually see everything that's going on in their campaign. For reports, of course, these are very important in gauging the effectiveness of the campaign, and we'll make sure and we'll discuss later the features for the reports. For chat is actually an internal communication system between agents and supervisors. Say, for example, an agent is encountering a query wherein he may need to ask a supervisor or a team leader or a group head, for example, and through the chat system, they can actually talk to each other. And then for the QA portal, this is the portal where they can generate all the reports, all the call lists, and they can verify and check and create sub-dispositions for the calls that already been made. Okay, so now that you see the admin page, I'm sure you guys are asking what will be the first step of setting up a call center or a campaign, right? Well, the first is actually will unkindly adding clients. So to that, let me refer to you to the client side of the application. So let's click in new client. So for the purposes of this demo, let's say let's take this. Let's give the name as webinar client 1. Let's give the address as Ayala. Okay, let's say Makati. Okay, it's Metro Manila. Okay. So now that we've added the client, the next thing that we need to do is actually create a campaign. Okay. So let me refer to you to the upper left hand corner of your screens. On the campaign side, let's create then a campaign. So let's say, for example, uh, the client has a campaign for calling all the voters in this area and in this region. So let's name the campaign as voter call out, for example. Okay. And then let's remember we added a webinar client, so let's put it there. Now, in the campaign mode, I'd like to, for the purposes of for everyone's information, I'd like to just give you a bird's eye view on the difference between predictive, progressive, and all of those types of calling method. Um, in a nutshell, progressive calling is actually simply automatically dialing the next number. So if you are a call center agent, once you finish the call, automatically the next call comes in. Now, in contrast, in predictive dialing, the system is in this case IPC Voices over dials a series of numbers, keeping them on tab, and putting them and pushing them to the next available call center agent. So the difference between progressive and predictive calling will vary depending on what type of scenario, what type of usage utilization requirement your campaign needs. Okay, so if you are time dependent, time conscious, progressive dialing is actually more useful. If you are concerned about the productivity of your agents, predictive dialing is very useful. So in this case, let's do progressive. And then the voice provider, as I mentioned, this has already been pre-configured through the Google Drive files that were already sent to you previous to this. Okay, so let's use the existing campaigns, and then let's click add. Okay, now once we've added the campaign, let's try and configure the administration, the disposition of the settings. So we can actually do dial pacing, we can change the dial prefix, we can even do maximum drops. At the same time, we can also do disable chat, because sometimes chat can work against the system. So you can enable or disable chat. You can enable disable notes history, and you can even disable transferring or conferencing. Now, for this position actually refers to the actions that will be done immediately after the call. So for example, you called person A. Through the disposition, it will conveniently help you determine what will be the next step. So for example, you called person A and the person said, you guys, I don't want to talk to you. So you can put there the disposition, do not call back. So in the system, it will register as a do not call back, in the sense that in the future this number will not be called in any of those future campaigns. At the same time, for custom fields, you can actually this is actually used for example, you are setting up a mailer, or some kind of an additional disposition. You can add them here. Later I'll show you how you do the disposition. Now for emails, what's good about this system actually is that it has a mailing system, in a sense that immediately after the call, you can actually send an email to the person that you called. And going further, you can even set the email template that you will be sending the customer. Because as you know, time is of the element here, and agents, they don't want to be composing emails all the time. So what IPC Voices does is that it can actually create an email template that you can replicate and send to your customers all the time. So from here, you can actually say, for example, let's say name, and then so what will happen there is that the name of the person you call will be automatically placed here, and then you say greetings. Thanks for your time and hope to talk to you again. So what this means that you can actually save this and make this the default template time. And then once you've updated it and then saved, then you're good to go. Okay. And then for filters, this actually is important if, for example, you have a calling list which is about 50,000 calling list and you only want to call female above 50 years old. So through this, you can actually filter those, and only those that you filtered will be placed in the live list that all of your agents can have access to. And then in terms of script, as I mentioned, this will be part of uh, the spiel, for example, of your call center agents. This is very important for uniformity of purpose and for accuracy of information that they'll be providing. So through here, you can actually create a script where during the call, the agents can actually follow too. And for resources, this actually has a connection regarding emails. So if you want to send an email that has an attachment, say for example, you want to attach a brochure for every email that you send, you can do so conveniently. For objectives, of course, business-wise, for business development, we need to have a written and formal information of what the campaign and the agent objectives are. So this you can do this. So once you've done the campaign settings, which understandably is very, very important, now you are ready to make a call. But wait, there's no call, there's no list of people to call. So the next thing you need to do now is load the list. So to do that, you go to the list and click on new list. Okay, so once you're there, a pop-up screen appears, which is what you're seeing right now. So let's list ID, let's say Makati City resident voters. Okay, so type of data, let's say it's a residential or say mixed. Then description. This is for the guidance of those who's going to be using the list. These are telephone numbers. Okay, of Makati voters. Okay, and then all you need to do is upload the file. So I already have a file here. Okay, and then all you need to do is click next. I wait, need to do a campaign ID. So it's put there webinar campaign, which we did. So once it shows you a summary of what is uploaded, and then it's actually all you need to do now is click next. And as you see here from the notification box, it says it loaded 15 records. So records refer to people, names with numbers. So now you already have the list. So I'm sure you guys are asking, Ace, we've been talking here for a few minutes already. Am I ready to make the call? The answer to that is no, actually. So um, just to recap, first we added a client, then we added a campaign, then we added the list. So the next thing we need to do now is actually add the actual agents or the actual users. So in the beginning of this webinar, we mentioned that there are different types of users. So what you're seeing right now is the admin or the VIP. So the admin or the VIP may not be the ones making the call. So all you need to do now is add agent. So why don't we do that right now? So let's add users, new user. Let's say webinar, let's say agent webinar 1. Okay, so let's say the password as password 3. Okay, so I'm writing it right now so I will not forget it. Webinar 1. So let's say the name is Jumpy. Okay. And the last name is Mumpy. Jumpy Mumpy. Okay. So let's say he is an administrator, just like me. So I'm gonna be adding that. Okay. Agent webinar one is admin. Okay. So now we have one user. Okay. Let's add a QA person. Okay. So let's say a QA webinar one. Okay. Later we'll be actually using those to access this specific types of users. So let's have a password. Okay, are you guys okay? So let's give the name as Shello. Shello. What's the name of the actress? Okay, just Shello. Shello. Okay, so let's give her the QA access. Okay, so agent QA webinar one QA. Okay, so if you notice, already added in admin user and we added a QA user. Why don't we add an actual agent actually? Okay, so let's say let's say uh, call center one IPC.h. So let's keep a password of password 123, and let's give the first name as uh, Jera Min. So he's gonna be the agent. Okay. So let's click. Let me write it down so I don't forget it, because I might forget it later. Center one. See that page. Okay. Right. So now we've added 3 users. Now let's check and manage the users. Okay, so if you can see here, we've added 3 users: an agent webinar one, quality assurer one, sorry, agent webinar one, call center one, QA webinar. Okay, later on we'll be using their access credentials to show you the difference in seeing an admin access, QA access, and an agent access. Okay, so now we've finished adding users. Let's now create teams. Now the thing about teams is that while you may have 100 agents running at the same time, they might be working on different campaigns. So through the teams feature of IPC Voices, you can actually group them together and put them to one specific campaign, or vice versa. You can move them from another group and place them in the new group that you'll be creating. So let's add a group then, okay? Or let's just uh, edit a client. So let's say webinar client, and then sorry. Uh, let's set up the teams. So let's create a team. Let's say webinar test one, right? So there. All you just have to do then is click team members, and let's place there who we just added. So let's click the Jera example. Okay. So we've already set the teams. Now let's set the roles. So by the way, these are actually default roles. While they may be default, you can actually create another custom role for your specific purpose. Specifically, if you have a client that may not want specific accesses to certain information like call list or the database or the CRM, you can actually do so. Right? Now, what's next? Thankfully, now we can run as an actual agent. Okay? So let's access now let's log out as administrator, and log in as an actual agent. So let me log in now as an agent. So as an agent, this is actually the first thing that I will be seeing. Remember this one, we pre-configured the dialer already, which means that we are ready to make a call actually. All we need to do is click which campaign we want to run, in this case, let's say, or whichever actually. And then we enter the soft phone extension. As I mentioned a while ago, the soft phone extension that was given to us for this purpose is 80029. So all we need to do is click next. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me just check. It said that the extension is already in use. Let's check again. Oops. Okay. Let me try again and redial. So this application actually makes you, gives you the capability to log in and log out depending on your purpose. Okay, so what we're trying to do now is log in uh, as an agent. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let me connect again. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, click on next. Oops, let me check again. Okay, so now this is actually what an agent will actually see in his user interface. So let me just give you a brief background on what this is all about. So for the customer information, this is actually what you can actually see when you set yourself up for the first time. So it will actually quote unquote call the call list and place them all here. And then on the script form, this actually forms a part of what the agent will actually say. For callbacks, if there are callbacks, numbers will be seen here. And then in the campaign details, for purposes of information, the agent might need, all of the information will be here. And then so on the upper corner, upper left hand corner, you'll see the next and preview next. So this will actually give you information on give you the feature to move forward with a call or end the call or make another call. So you can dial and dial. You can even add a new lead. So let's try and click next. Okay. So that all we need to do now is that click dial, and all what will happen is that it will dial this number. So once you've ended the call, you'll click here on the on the red button, and then when you click next, it will ask you the disposition. So for example, the after your call, what was derived from the call is that you need to make an appointment. So all you need to do is click appointment set. And what's good about this system is that it will even give you the scheduler. So once you click there the disposition as appointment set, all you need to do now is place here when you need to make the appointment or when you need to make a follow-up call. So for example, you need to call the person on May 23 at 11:30 a.m. Then you click done. What will happen is that it will be saved into the database and you will actually be able to have that number on May 23 at 11:30 in the morning. So you can make that call already. Okay. So again, let's try another call. Let's click on preview next, and then you can set up um, again what position. So for example, the person you called is very mad and say not interested or do not call. So all you need to do is click there not interested and then click done, and then you're off to the next number. See, it's very, very useful, very, very convenient, very, very user intuitive because here in IPC, our objective really is to offer solutions that are less complicated, simple, and features that very, very important from the get-go. In fact, this is application is geared uh, as all of the management, all of the configuration complexities of running at contact center, so you have more time and you can allocate more resources into doing the core applications and the core functions that your company needs to really do. Okay, so now we've seen how to make a call. Let's look at um, looking at the applications, looking at the system on a QA standpoint. Okay, so for example, I finished my 8-hour shift already. The next question is, what do I do next? So as part of total and holistic approach towards a real business application, a real business system, IPC Voices, as mentioned previously, has a QA access that you can actually so you can verify all of the information that you've actually done, all the calls, everything actually that transpired in the company. So let's log out an agent access. Okay. Oops, let's dispose the last call. Okay, let's say the person, Mr. Joshua Turner, is not interested. By the way, these numbers, this information that you're seeing right now are all dummy information to make sure, utmost confidentiality is preserved for this demo, for this webinar. Okay, so remember we have a QA access. Let me get that. QA webinar 1. Okay, the password. Okay, so as you can see, the difference between the admin and the agent, and now the QA is drastically different. For the QA, what the QA will actually be only seeing are the information that have already been generated. Okay, so let's look at. Okay, let's check a campaign and let's search. So these are the numbers or this is the list of all the numbers that were called. And if I may refer to you to the left most side of your screen, this red button signifies actually that the call has been recorded. So let's try one. Okay, so I'll see the recording. So for those of you who enabled audio their computers, please uh, activate or enable the external output so you can hear the recordings, right? Okay, so I'm clicking it. So this is what transpired in the call, so you can actually hear it when the call is made. Okay, I think there's no call here. Let me check another one. Okay, okay, so what transpires here actually is an actual call. But apparently there's nothing here, nothing. Let's check another number. Spoke here. Okay, let me check again. Okay, it's the answering machine. All right. Okay, so this is a recording of the phone call. And so as QA, you have visibility on all the calls that were done. So you can check quality, actual call itself, effectiveness or truthfulness, for example, of the agent. At the same time, any comment or feedback that was left by the actual person that the agent dialed in. And at the same time, if, for example, you found that the certain call or the certain number was found wanting, or there needs to be some improvement, or the person needs to be called back for corrections or any clarifications, you can actually hear that you may need to recall the person, and you say tag it as incomplete. Now, because you tag that is incomplete, what will happen then is you will return it on the call list for future clarifications and future callbacks. So you just have to say save, it's done. At the same time, if I may refer you to the right side of your screen, this green button here actually will allow the QA to call back the person that the agent called. Say, for example, you want to apologize, say, I'm sorry, my agent said this, or it was incorrectly mentioned to you. I'm calling you to rectify the mistake. Okay? Or if you want to email the client, you can you can do so as well. Okay? So the application will make sure that full requirements of your clients will be. If there are any questions, uh, you might want to place them here. So I think we have a few questions here. So, as let's see, is a hybrid approach possible? How can I still make use of my existing setup? Yes, a hybrid approach is possible. What we actually recommend is that number one, you retain your existing computers, you retain your existing headsets, preferably USB headsets, and all you need to do is provide or get three things from my PC. One is bandwidth, which IPC delivers as well. Number two is the actual licenses for IPC Voices. Now, the IPC Voices are actually concurrent licenses. So, meaning if you have 30 agents, but there are only 10 agents per shift, you don't need to buy 30 licenses. All you need to do is buy 10 licenses and you're good to go. At the same time, all you need to do now is to get um, uh, uh, VoIP calling, and then we're good to go. Okay, and then let me see. There's another question right here. What are the downside of this program since it depends on the cloud? Does it have delays? This is a very good question. Now, on the first question, the downside, to me, quite honestly, there is no downside to this type of applications. Meaning, it's hard not to win on this in using this application actually, because the objective of this application is to improve on most of the pain points of all of your end users, and one of those is actually on complexity and ease of and difficulty in setting up the system. Again, since this is subscription based and cloud based, as you can see, the application is already running and ready. So you already can use it. If, for example, you call IPC 8488700 and say I need it later, you can even run your campaign even tonight if you want. So the use and the ease of using it is actually very, very important. At the same time, and I'd like to emphasize this as well, is that there is zero capital expense required. This is especially important for our SME users, our listeners out there, our SME clients out there, who you say, are dreaming of having a startup company but don't want to be burdened by millions of pesos in capital expense. For IPC Voices, all you need to do is actually open up yourself to these types of applications, see for yourself the features of this product, and realize that the cloud is really the future of IT. And I personally, I am a believer of that. And I thank you really for listening in and seeing the features of the application. And rest assured that the IPC and the whole product management and marketing team will not end here. There'll be regular webinars and webcasts regarding the products and technologies, not just on the products what we deliver, but on the underlying technologies that every product, every IT product needs to be informed about. So at this point, any further questions, please do email us at salesteam@ipc.ph or call us at 848-8700, or you may want to visit also our website cloud.com.ph or ipc.ph. All you need is all the information regarding the products and technologies are there. At the same time, I also invite you to visit our Think Out Cloud site, where all the information, all the articles, including the articles that I make, are there for your reference. At the same time, little tidbits on everything that's happening around the IT world. So again, on behalf of product management and marketing, this is Ace Yutuc thanking you for listening in. And for the replay of this webinar, please visit the IPC YouTube page. Thank you very much. Bye.